Hello grapplers and welcome to a new video. Usually when we talk about Zangief and his weaknesses, talk about the length of the button, how slow they are, the anti-air, super level 2 has to be faster, but there are some things that I feel also need to be taken care of, and those three things are very significant, and those are the ones we're gonna talk today. DI, distance, and usage. I have some notes right here, by the way. I'm trying to be professional. The range of DI is very short with Zangief. We're using the super combo wiki. The movement is 1.06. Zangief has one of the shortest DIs in the game, and that is very noticeable, especially when you compare to other characters like Kimberly. It's a good place to just test your DI. You will whiff. This means in situations where you are more or less sure your DI punish is the best option to go for, you might whiff and you will be punishable. Something that happens a lot with Zangief. The range of DI is very bad, but not only the range, usage of DI. I have this Zangief here set to block and use Standing Heavy Punch. Standing Heavy Punch is, as you know, a 4-frame armor move if you hold it. I'm gonna use a lot of buttons and every single one is gonna be punished by the other Zangief, the green Zangief, Standing Heavy Punch fully charged. Now that's Zangief, this is just a test. Other characters can do even more things. In the case of Zangief, Standing Heavy Punch is probably the best option, or DI back, but you'll see that if I do any of my moves into DI, I'm leaving more or less 4 frames or 5 frames, depending on the move, of difference. That means everything I do has a gap, even if I do a drive rush. That means, again, some characters can even jump some of these sequences, especially from lights. This, easily people can jump it. When the opponent is in burnout, you do have more options. You can go into drive rush, crouching medium punch, this is the usual one, but still some of them have gaps. The DI system for Zangief is not good. Now moving on to point number 2, número 2, Standing Heavy Punch loses very clean to DI. This is a big issue considering this is a button that you need to more or less abuse when you are at range, because he doesn't have anything that can be cancelable. So poking is your only option. You're not gonna go for crouching medium punch into DRC because this is very difficult to use, or headbutt. This is 14 frames, you're not gonna use it like that. So your option is poking with Standing Heavy Punch. This is more kind of difficult to show, but let's do some Standing Light Punch into an immediate Standing Heavy Punch without charge. I'm gonna react to the Standing Heavy Punch with my own DI, and this Zangief will not be able to block. It will be a punish counter. Even if you charge that Standing Heavy Punch, either partially or fully, you will get DI'd back. It is very common for Zangief to try to escape a situation with Standing Heavy Punch, or just throw one because you have to, and you get DI'd back. There are only a few instances where you can more or less survive that situation. You need to drive rush with the Standing Heavy Punch and the opponent has to react very late, then you might be able to DI back, but that is a big issue. Now another point I have over here is more or less a 2.5 because it's related to this. Zangief doesn't have the best options for setting up a DI. That means due to how slow his buttons are and how slow the drive rush is, very rarely you will be in a position where you can do a crouching medium kick into DI. This is something that happens very often with other characters like JP, Guile, where they drive rush, press a bunch of buttons, and then they go for a random crouching medium kick and they recover in time for a DI. That doesn't happen to Zangief that often because you're rarely in a position where you can drive rush forwards unless you get a knockdown. It's not very common for Zangief due to speed in general to do that. That means if you really want to set up a possible response to a DI, a random DI, or a very carefully curated DI, you need to use drive rush Standing Medium Punch. Maybe crouching medium kick too, to set up a possible response, a DI in response. That is very bad for this character. That's why so many Zangief players usually refer to Zangief being weak to DI. I don't mean necessarily weak to the eye if you go for medium punches or crouching medium punches. Almost everything he can do is some more or less weak to the eye in some shape or form, which is not a good thing. The third point is plus frames don't mean much. This is gonna be a little difficult to explain without the internet jumping and actually trying to pursue me with pitchforks and torches. Zangief is a very slow character. That includes dashing, backdashing, jumping, buttons. That means a +1 or a +2 or even a +3 for Zangief isn't that interesting or that useful. Let's just check without using dry brushes. You cannot combo into anything, not even the rest of the target combo. That's fair, that's standing medium punch. But what about crouching medium punch? +3. What is your frame trap over here? Crouching light punch. In here, you're +6 at range for nothing that is really valuable for Zangief. You will get a poke, and that's it. The best option by far in terms of plus frames is headbutt, because that allows you to go into hell stab, and crouching light punch, which is +6, doesn't mean much, but at least you have 6 frames. The issues start to arise once you start doing dry rushes on block and on hit. Let's try on hit, for example. If you dry rush on hit standing medium punch, you're +6. That means your only combo here, your only true combo is the target combo. Because if you go for anything else, what you gonna get? 2 lights? And that's the end of your combo. You cannot go reliably into Lariat from here. Or you just go into one crouching light punch. Awful. From the crouching medium punch, usually you get a +7. You can get more if you hit someone during the later frames, but usually it's +7. And if you're far, it is very likely your hell stab will whiff. So what I'm trying to say here is between +7, +13, your only 2 really good options are hell stab or crouching medium punch. And those 2 are very distance dependent. Being +11 from here doesn't mean anything for Zangief other than hell stab. And that's a huge amount of frames. With any other character that would be nuts. Because what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go for crouching heavy punch? This is 13 frames. You need more frames in order to combo into this one. And these only combos if the opponent is standing. That means you have to go into a hell stab drive rush, into standing heavy kick, or just catch someone whiffing with standing heavy kick. It is very difficult to combo into this thing. Even this one is +10. So the amount of frames for Zangief are not the best. He needs way more frames than the rest of the cast just because he's very, very slow. And his buttons don't necessarily are cancelable into things. He's usually a poking machine. And that means this might be your best option for power. Now that is on hit. On block things are also very difficult. And that is on hit. On block, for example, this is +2. That means your best option is definitely the rest of the target combo. Or light SPD if you're from here. Overall, very far but within light SPD range. Otherwise, if you're really far, nothing. This puts Zangief in a very precarious position because the opponent can easily just wait or backdash for you to do something and punish you. And that is a standing medium punch. Crouching medium punch is +3. That means this is not a frame trap. People can press 4 frames and beat you there. This should be +4. And that is the usual thing with Zangief. Only +2, +1. And objectively, +1 and +2 are not really that good for this character. In order to get some really good frame traps with Zangief, you need a +4. So you can go into hell stab. Or at least go into crouching medium punch and trade with 4 frames your crouching light punch and be, at least in terms of frames, more or less secure for crouching medium punch, depending on the trade obviously. But there's nothing he can do that is really strong with a +1, +2, or +3. And those are the most common ones for Zangief. And I know what you're thinking. If you don't play Zangief, you might be thinking that I'm going insane. But the reality is, Zangief is, again, a pretty slow guy. He needs more frames in order to create a proper game plan. That's a big difference between him and the other characters, where a +1 or a +2 is enough. They can go into a crouching light punch that can be cancelled into specials, or a crouching light punch counter hit into crouching medium punch. They have more options in terms of distances and also frame traps. That is not the case with this guy. That's a big significant issue we don't often discuss. we don't often talk about frames with Zangief. At least not frames on block and on hit. What can I say? He needs more +4s or at least +3s. There's just a bunch of +1s and +2s with Zangief, and those do nothing for this character. We don't often talk about these ones. We usually just focus on speeding up the super level 2 or the Lariat, but these are very glaring issues for Zangief, and I hope they fix them somewhat in the future, because even if they fix everything, even if they fix Lariat, the super 1, 2, 3, even if they do all of that, and leave these 3 things, we're still gonna be struggling in some areas, because we're just weak on hit and on block, unless you're really close and you land your SPDs or your super level 3s. If you really like this video, please subscribe. You might want to go to the Twitch channel where we talk about Zangief in depth and also other grapplers. See you again, take care, keep playing grapplers, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.